from them. A poor woman, a lady here, and several other property owners who have resided here for many years woke up one morning and just saw a group of men trying to dig foundation and planting poles and that of blocks to barricade over 9 to 10 acres of land. Well, yeah, when we asked what were the brain behind it, they said it's Abacha who said the land for him. So since then the citizens of the district, knowing someone who have had history of strong advocacy, I'm talking about a result-oriented advocacy, immediately call upon the services of their son, Honorable Prince Kipla, and with no delay, he responded the same day. When he arrived on the land, they were already talked that were there with shovels and cutlasses, already trying to harm people. To bring you up to speed, the Labrador National Police came and they stopped the team from working, but the guys go to work 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the night when people are sleeping. That's the time they begin foundation. So at this junction, I'd like to stop here. We have very few important speakers that can say more than what I have said. But I just try to drill you through the synopsis of our gathering here. So quickly we will take Honorable Prince Kipla, who will address the press conference. Honorable Kipla, after him will be taking the chairman of the Clappers Town community. He will be speaking. We'll be taking Big Brother Junction Joe. Yes, after that we'll take one of the female victims. Then we'll entertain question and answer from the press. So with much ado, Honorable Prince Kipla will have the attention of district dwellers and the Republic of Nigeria at large.
Thank you so much, Thomas. A very eloquent narration of the demonic, inhumane action of one praise Tony Abacha. Look, ladies and gentlemen of the press, we woke up a few days ago to the cause of the people of district number 12. There were 5 victims, 2 female, 2 male, a church, and so forth. Whose properties are being claimed by one praise, Tony, Lawa, or Abacha, or whatever. The guy is so dubious to the extent that he doesn't have one name. When our people call us in tears that this man who has a history of illegally confiscating people's property, being aided and abetted by some individual of high places, move on our people's land and started to plant foundation, started to barricade the whole place with concrete walls. He does this overnight when our people are asleep. Then I wonder why with somebody who claims to own a land legally want to come to work on that land at the time everybody are asleep. So we moved in and came to the aid of our people, and we realized that Abacha is using his power and influence to the disadvantage of the poor people. We think this is unfortunate. This is uncalled for. This is not a Liberia that our forefathers fought for. This is not a Liberia that the government that I am part of is fighting for. This is not a Liberia that we all as Liberians want for our country. A place where a foreign national will come and take people who are legal entitlement to Liberia property with no redress on the part of the law. We want to call on our government to act very decisively. What we witness here being perpetrated by Praise Tuni Lawa is unacceptable, and the Liberian government must act now. Why do I say it's unacceptable? Mr. Abacha brings thugs, group of ballet men, who he deposits opposition to the entrance, to the full entrance of the properties in question. Every young man, woman, elderly person that pass close to that facility, they are brutalized. Batuni Lawa and his thoughts. We reject this, we detect this in the strongest terms, and we think the people are powerless in terms of physical power. Even though the Constitution says the power is inherent in the people. But the government must have to come to protect our people now. I will emphasize that if the government fails to come to protect our people, anything coming out of this situation, the government will be held responsible for that.
Yes.
If there is a chaos here, the government will be held responsible for that, and specifically, the Liberian National Police will be held responsible for this. Abacha will not continue to push our people hard to the extent our people have nowhere to stay any longer. Of course, you know, when you push a man too hard to the extent that they got nowhere to stay, they will have to make a balance. And to make a balance means there will be confrontation. And if confrontation comes, that will mean there will be violence. If violence comes, that means there will be loss of properties and lives. We are sounding the early warning. We are sounding this early warning so that the government will avoid any conflict situation that will lead to property damage and the loss of lives. What Abacha is doing is gradually gravitating to full-scale conflict, just like what is happening in Ukraine. What Abacha is doing, he's pushing our people to a position that they should not be. Our people want to be peaceful, but Abacha is pushing them to be violent. They will not be violent. We continue to talk to them not to be violent. But if the government fails to act, the people will have to defend themselves because they got no choice. I'm therefore asking the police authority to ask Abacha to do the right thing. We know under land regulations, when you acquire a piece of property and you want to do a survey, you put a survey notice. And all of the adjacent parties will come to establish their claims. Based on the discussion over there with the legal government authority present, the full claim to that property can be established. Abacha is not following any of those because according to him, what he told me, the government is in his pocket. And I know myself, I work for the government. I'm not aware of what time I've ever been in a pocket. I'm not aware of any government official being in a pocket, but he has made a public declaration that is a challenge to the government to act. Any attempt on the part of the government not to act will suggest that what Abacha says that the government is in a pocket is true.
Yes.
I'm particularly very depressed, frustrated, and taken aback that the first day when the incident occurred, the police commander here at Zone 4 expeditiously intervened and ordered that Abacha and the rest of the other parties stop work on the plot of land and go to the police station for discussion. Surprisingly, the victims went there. Abacha did not go there. The following day, we saw the special assistant to the police director deploy in protection of Abacha. That goes to suggest that the police director, Patrick Sudu, has a hand in this process. Sure. Exactly. We will not mince our war insofar as we are part of the government. Dubious individuals in the government who got dubious motives to enrich themselves at the expense of the government, the people will be exposed.
Yes. Exactly.
We are warning the police director. If Abacha is his friend, if he one of those that in Abacha pocket, our government is not in Abacha pocket. He should start pursuing a personal agenda at the expense of the government and the people of Liberia.
Yes.
Because what he's doing here now has the ability to invoke full-scale conflict in District Number 12 that might lead to casualty, loss of properties, and lives.
Yes.
We don't want that in our district.
Yes.
Few days ago, we were mourning the death of several persons in Bourgeois Island. Yet they are going to worship God. It's unfortunate. We mourn the death and sympathize with the bereaved family. But we don't want a situation here in District Number 12 where a group of citizens clashing with a Nigerian may result to loss of lives and properties.
Yes.
That is why we are calling the authority with no means of our words. The community leadership, along with the victims, we have officially communicated to the land authority seeking their intervention. We follow the full course of the law, but that does not suggest that we are weak. That does not suggest that we are not capable of forcefully evicting Abacha out of the private property of our legitimate citizens. But we want to be people who respect and follow the rule of law. That is why we follow all of the legal processes to ensure that justice is brought for the poor people. Justice in the context of our governance system was not meant for only the rich. Justice is meant for all. The poor, the rich, the have, and the have-not. So we think the government should be a middleman in between all of us. We are not asking for special favor from the government. All we are asking the government to do is to do the right thing by making sure that Abacha follow all legal process to acquiring this land if he claims that this land is for him. He should follow all legal processes. Henceforth, going forward, Abacha should be warned that he will not be allowed to do any work on the land until full recourse to the law is secured. We are not against Abacha coming to develop District Number 12. No, absolutely not. We in District Number 12, we are grieving very strongly for development. But we want development done within the framework of the law. When a group of people, fundamental human rights are being violated. When a group of people, property rights are being violated. When people property are being taken from them, that is construed as honor development as well. Development is not only the mere presence of infrastructure, it's also the satisfaction, the happiness of the people that dwell in that context. When our people are not happy, we cannot suggest that Liberia is developed. When rule of law is not entertained in Liberia, when rule of law is not respected in Liberia, we cannot brag that Liberia is developed. Because the development of Liberia also is inclusive of Liberia being ruled under the rule of law. What Abacha is doing can never happen in Nigeria. He's provoking our people to anger, and we like to call on our government to don't allow him to provoke our people to anger. A hint to the wise is quite sufficient. Having said that, members of the press, distinguished fellow Liberians, ladies and gentlemen, we will give room to the community chairman, the community where the property is currently lying. The leadership will speak, and then we'll subsequently ask the rest of the other few of the victims to speak, not all of the victims. So we'll ask in the community leadership. Okay, so you will speak.
Yes. Samson Tolbert Jr., Secretary General of the South Community. It's a serious act. I can't say anything much that Honorable has just said. Abacha comes here 2 o'clock in the morning. I heard my door banging. When I came out, I saw Abacha and his thoughts by raiding this compound, this lands. It's not his property. He has no title to these properties. I even want to tell people that it was a cause of Abacha attitude that someone died in this community recently. The old man land is depending on was in hospital when he heard Abacha approach on his land. The man gave up. Let Abacha post stop with this. And his wise is quite sufficient. Thank you.
For me, they blame myself and I'm going to so many places. They consider Fred Cherry in New York, but they case before he passed. The president, minister, he there, just a minister, he aware of these things. But yet and stay before I don't have money. 2 days ago, when my husband went at this man, I came here and told her, my husband on time there, you're tormenting me. But in case, I started crying. He came to my rescue. But yet and still, the people here were here. While my husband body laying down as I speak, every night they will paparazzi my other place. They send with new community, it never happened. So Chinese security, the person thought he beat all out of children, locked up from years ago. For what I don't know, that the president come. Mr. President, I want you to come to our aid. We never go to Nigeria and fight for them. The sister right to the bridge there on the left-hand side, the sister posting people, paying people to get our children. The sister is there now, Nigerian man. Abacha do not have no legitimate document. We have went to immigration. We have arrested him before he was drug alley. I will say anyway. He want to send people me, then he come. Because we don't have to now walk and drive the flats. Thank you, Mr. President. I spoke with you once, but we were talking one day. Part of me from Sastan too. All my children from Sastan too. My grown-up children. So it would be family discourse. I would go in with my children, we discuss. I thank you that he can be.
All right, thank you, sir. It's over to the press.
I am Mrs. Matter to Akpan. Mrs. Pan. The pan made that just died on Saturday morning around 9. Around 9 in the evening. I want to go before I finish the week. Okay. Can I go to the
We'll take you joining us. Yeah, hello. Yeah, my name is William Kane. It's about my uncle land. This land since 1983, eh? 83. We used to make garden here. We planted potato garden, okra garden, everything. We were managing this land, we got our tea, everything. Only together one day, we made a whole land fence by the man called Abacha. Yeah. Who is known to be fencing everybody's land? One is a free land. Abacha is fencing it. Abacha has come any free land in Somalia to fence it. More than 4 or 5 different land. He just fencing our property. We go to court, we can't get no reverse. And he formed gangsters. Abacha got gangsters with him. He gathered them on your property. When you go there, they beat you up. In our own country, we have been treated like that. Abacha got gangsters. When a foreigner riding on us, there's a man who has robbed this country. There's a man who robbed the Liberian government of resources. More than $2 million. On building a Bobolo highway. No redress. Now he's using our money to suffer us in our own country. Yeah. Everywhere, here, more than 10 different areas, Abacha affects everything. We are not getting redress. To our utmost surprise, when you go to your land, the gangster set up, then send for police. Police always coming. Why the police always coming back here, Abacha, and taking our property from us? There's a man who came on the STP and dug hole. STP property, he dug hole with caterpillar in the night. Is this estate cinema you talking? Nothing. They may brought goat and sheep and race in the street of our estate. Shading all over. He take like bread to his farm. We want government to come to our aid. The entire civil society. We want people to come to our aid. Because everywhere you go, he has all the big lawyer in the ground behind. When you go, you find more than 4 or 5 lawyers behind. Where you put man, you will fight that man. We want government to come in. Because we are getting fed up. We are getting fed up.